see, there you go. If the lowest playable note is the 7th, okay, now we look at 2 flat. We look at the E scale. E, F sharp, 2 flat. There's our F. See, everybody knows that E is the 7th of F. But when you see key equals 2 flat, root is the key of 2 flat of a scale built off of the lowest playable note. So that's my system there for making the cages that are actually the 12 key cages. So these are the actual keys of caged. These are the real keys of caged, not these keys of caged, right? C, A, G, E, and D. Okay? Those are keys of caged too. But these are the real cages for the keys of cages. Now, let's move on. Okay, before we get to the end of this segment, although it's all going to be edited and processed by and divided by Bandicut once I get the entire video edited tonight, we have the 3 types of pattern stacks. We have the 12 key, we have the modal longs, and we have the short regular caged. Okay, so those are the 3 types of pattern stacks, but they're all composed mostly of the same string shapes from the caged. So, here we are at the mighty chart 499. Modal long cages, tri-pentatonic longs, chord shaped circles for long modals. Now, talk about the 12 key cages. In this rollout here, I don't have, on the previous chart I do have the rollout here. We should talk about 498 before we go to 499. Modal long pattern cages, root diatonics, and modal pentatonics. Here's our root diatonic. Hopefully all these scale numbers are colored white here. Remember, these are virtual accidentals. The only reason I have this darkened in these particular frets, because these are spacer frets between the long pattern cages that are the short pattern cages. So that's those are your unplayables if you capoed the 5 there and the fret that was there. These would be your unplayables. These are your unplayables if you capoed the 2 there, the second of whatever key you want to play in. These would be your unplayables. So they're not part of, because remember, this is long patterns. So that means we can start on the 2nd. So if I have a D down here, right here, D. We have the D, we can go D, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that? This is the long cage, and here's the diatonic. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3. Right there. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 right there, or we can go 4, 5, 6 open, 7, root 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the diatonic, and I already knew how to do that, but I didn't know how to do the long pattern pentatonics, and I used the tri-pentatonic. Now, tri-pentatonic, I can show you quickly with the short patterns now. Remember, we're going to access the 3/7 now that we've got the capo off. The short pattern pentatonics, that's the pentatonic, but the tri-pentatonic is D-A, D-G-A, right? So it's, okay, D, G-A. See, here's our 3/7. cheaper there. So, because it's not an augmented fourth, it has to be an augmented fourth to be a blues fourth. Okay, so, you know, we're relaxed today. We're going to learn this today. It's cold again for some reason today. I don't know. But it's like 40 out there, you know, instead of, it was 81 or 82 yesterday. So the weather's getting crazy. So we have the modal long pattern cages here that I've developed. And the way that I chose their dimensions was to do the play away. Okay, so we've got root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5. And by the way, this 7 is a white 7. Okay, so see, sometimes I make little errors when I'm changing the color modes of the fretboard. So again, how do I determine the dimensions of these? On the diatonic rollout, we have the long string shapes. Let's look at our string shapes again. Over here, you know, I hate to move me around at all, but because I'm looking that way, you know, I'm looking at this, even though it looks like I'm looking away from it, right? These are the modal string shapes. They start on a number that is a mode, okay, and they have pattern movement. Here's your augmented fourth there, 4 to the 7, looper, and then we go up on the shorts here, short, short, short. Okay, and these double strings, don't worry about that. Double indicators here. In this particular old modal drawing here, because I'm always going back to the previous charts and just grabbing something, and I often regret it. This G here is just that G string shape there. G string shape 6, 7 root. So that kind of, it's a G, but it doesn't mean it's the G cage, the G string shape, and the E string shape, which would be 6, 7, root 2, which would be a nice double string shape for cello, because cello's in fifths, so you go 6, 7, root 2, like that, before you want to 3, 4, 5, 6, which would be a fifth up instead of straight up to the next string. You'd have to go a fifth up and do a double string shape there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3. See the cello and fiddle and violin string shapes, the strings are P5s, perfect fifths, so you do a double string shape there. That's the only reason. Let's get away from what isn't, that might be a little misleading. We've got so much great stuff to cover. Now, when I was talking about these no plays that are part of the short string shape, here we go, people. We're en route here. Here's C. Here's a high C, okay? So it would be 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. Like that. These no plays, how many of them are there, not counting the duplicate? 1, 2, 3, 4 in the E shape, because E has 4 sharps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? We have a 4 here. I want to zoom in on this because I did make this stuff kind of a subdued label. So E has the 4 that are in that. I call this a spacer fret. C has 0 right here. C has 0, but the Lydian has 5 of them. Now, how does that work? I think I know what we're going to see. Here's your Lydian. Look at all these numbers. I was thinking something else. Look at all these no plays. So this is almost a key in itself. A key in itself. Matter of fact, every one of these cages is on the 12 key chart. I don't have to show you that because it gets a little gaudy. And we covered a little bit of 12 key. So every one of these cages is on the 12 key chart, but not every one of the 12 key cages is on this chart, right? Not only we've got long patterns here, and the 12 key chart only covers enough frets to isolate that key as unique. Okay, so they're only 5 fret. The 12 key charts are only 5 fret descriptions of the key. By the way, if you like these videos, like and subscribe. Follow the instructions below on YouTube to access Andy's free guitar chart videos group on Facebook with the URL put together, and you can view the videos in their entirety with the comments. Keep watching. You're going to be great. If you get this stuff, it's going to help you no matter what level you're at. Okay, so let's look at this now. We're looking at the C box here. We're going to start on 3, but we're actually going. That's the short 4, 5, 6, where we could actually get that. So without the capo, shorts, you don't want to use the capo. Let's say the 4th, we're in the key of C, so we're on this F here. So it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7 root. Here's our 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. 2, 3, 3, 4. 2, 3, 3, 4. Okay, but we're really looking at this here, people. We are looking at this. Okay. Okay, so I've got the other chart up. So this is our long C box. We're just going to grab this, okay, and copy it into the buffer. Now we're going to look at chart 497, and we're going to look for that. We're going to look for this 4, 5, 6 box, okay?